Hello dear friends, I am Vangelis Prokopiou and you are watching why use forEach instead of for loop. I will show you two reasons for why using a forEach loop, and these are the reasons that I use a forEach always instead of a for loop. So let's see what we have in place. I have an example here. It's a JavaScript file. It's a contrived example just to show you the points that I want to make. So we have four arrays here, and for some reason we are forced to perform a for loop for all these arrays, nested for loops, and finally we have to do our thing at the fourth nested array. Imagine that you have some data that you have to process this way. Well, as you can understand, this kind of code is quite difficult to read. You have to spend a lot of energy to read the code and understand what's going on. We have to maintain various variables for the loops I, J, K, L, etc. and be careful not to make any typos or whatever in order to be able to run this code and not break it. So let's try to run this code. To see the second reason why I don't like for loops. The first one was the readability. Let's see the second one. So let's try to run this code. Okay, we run the code and we start seeing some undefineds here instead of seeing the actual values. Why does this happen? Well, if we are if we try to read this code with much caution, we will see here that we have this condition instead of just this condition, and this leads to the renowned, how are they called, off by one errors. So here we had an off by one error, which finally led to the undefined values that we had when we executed the code. So we see the two reasons. One is readability, and the second is that we are very prone to the off by one errors. Let's see the same code with forEach loop. I have a forEach loop here. Let's see the code. As you can see, the code is much more readable. You don't have to spend a lot of mental energy to understand what's going on here. In the most inner loop we do our stuff, we do what we want to do. It's a lot more readable, and let's try executing this code. Okay, as you can see, now we have all the values correctly and we have no undefined values. That's good. So, to sum up, the reasons that I always prefer to use a forEach loop instead of a for loop is that it is much more readable, one, and second, it protects us by the off by one errors, which we are very prone to do when we create such for loops. This was for today's video. Thank you for watching and have a great day.